and welcome to the Wednesday Call Live. Hosted today by special guest host, Paul Roberts. Filmed in front of a live studio audience in Burlington, North Carolina. Brought to you by AMP Studios, featuring the latest in Alliance news and in-depth training. Now, let's hear it for your host, Paul Roberts!
Paul Roberts. Legend right there.
All right. What's up, Mark? I see you back there, big guy. You guys grab a seat. You guys are gorgeous. Hearts racing, pounding. Y'all get to sit down. I gotta talk.
Put in that work, baby.
Woo. Yep, it's moving. Hey, Paula. I am so excited to be here. Andy just called. Crazy man called. I don't even know where he is right now, but he called, you know. He ain't here, I know this. And he called and said, do me a favor, tell everybody it's worth it. Tell everybody it's worth it. Everything's worth it. The late nights, it's worth it. The staying up in bed at night wondering, he's here to tell you it's worth it.
That's right.
Being scared is okay.
Yeah.
He wants to let you know it's worth it. Having that fear, having that doubt, it's okay. It's worth it. We just need you to be courageous. Courageous. It's not. We're all going to have fear.
Yeah.
We're all going to have fear.
That's right.
And Toby, some of us deal with fear differently. And how we deal with the fear, he just wants to let you know it's worth it. And then he said about 2,000 other things. I couldn't keep up with him. He did say, he goes, "You're going to be proud of me. I walked 10 miles. I said, "I'm very proud of you. I wish I could be with you. I wish I could have been your running instructor for you." I don't think he was running, but he was walking. And it's worth it. It's all worth it. And I just wanted to share that with you because he just called me, JC, and I was like, I can't believe he was calling me. My heart dropped like, oh, maybe he's going to tell me not to do the show or something. Maybe this is a trick, you know. Psych. I'm in the other room, dude. Did you really think you were going to do the show without me? He wanted to put my ego down, right? But here we are, and I got two great friends with me, George Andershock. We call him G-Shock. He does shock. He has shocked the culture of the Roberts Rockstars for sure, and is just an amazing man. And then we got Philip Hebert. And we call him. I started calling him Dr. Phil because his last name drives me nuts. Because it's spelt Hebert, and that's somehow Hebert. And people say the H is silent. Take it out. So I have renamed him A, capital A, B-E-A-R, Hebert. But we call him Dr. Phil, and blessed that they made the journey from Texas with me. And you know, I can't emphasize this enough, and I say it constantly, Austin, is the words we use matter, and what we say to other people matters. How we treat other people, it matters. Jeff Bright sent me a text this morning that literally made my day. Made my day. It started my day off, and he didn't know. He didn't know that text was good, but it was the words he chose to use. Listen, we all have that same ability to help other people.
That's good.
We all can choose to use our words to lift people up. We need it. We got to hear it. My good friend Nick Tafflenboss, we call him the...
Like a boss!
For everybody in the audience, they're saying, like a boss. Like a boss! Jesus. He came to my suite this morning and brought me some food. And he said, I want to let you know something. When I was having that troubling time, and I was going through that horrible stuff, and I called to tell you, my heart was pounding to tell you what I was going through. And when you said that you still believed in me, I couldn't believe it. Because I wasn't believing in me. But you said you believed in me. And Monica, at the time, I did not know those words would impact him in such a way. But do you see how powerful our words are?
Yeah.
And what we say and do to lift other people up, it matters. It's important. Okay? I believe that one of the greatest gifts God has given us is the power of influence.
That's right.
Another way to look at it is inspiring others, influencing others, inspiring others. It's a gift that sometimes we forget we got. We tend to look at what we don't got as opposed to what we do got. Mm-hmm. I know that's some probably horrible English up in there.
You in North Carolina, we understand.
Leroy understood me. Don't you start with that. We only got an hour and a half. Oh, God, I love you, Terry. T and T. But this is a gift that we all have. But we underutilize it. We don't use it. We don't tell people we believe in them. We don't tell people we love them. We don't think. And here's why. Sometimes we think that they don't need to hear it. And sometimes we just don't know about ourselves, so we don't say it to someone else because we put our self-image down here. Raise your self-image and tell another person you believe in them. Raise your self-image by telling another human being that you believe in them and how important they are. My good buddy Mac sent me a text the other day, and he said, listen, the last 5 years your growth has been like this. He said, outside of not drinking no more, what else would you attribute to the success? And without a second's thought, Chris, I didn't even think about it. It didn't even take time, Debbie, to think about it. I just shot him a text, grace and gratitude. Grace and gratitude. And what I mean by that is grace, and the grace that I've been given, and the dumb things I've done. I've let Jane Albright down back when I was drinking. I've let Andy Albright down. I've let Fitz down. I've let Michael down. I've let people down. But yet, somehow, some way, Tia, I've been given grace. To not only be that far down, Paula, but to rise back up.
That's right.
And not to just rise back up, but Stephanie, other people begging me to go to the top.
That's right.
Screaming for the success. I've been given incredible grace. And ultimately grace from God, which I still don't understand yet. I'm trying to get better at that every day to understand it. It still freaks me out a little bit, I'll be completely honest. But, so if I've been given that grace, I got to give others grace.
That's right.
Let me back up. What I could have said to Nick is said, Nick, if you would have done this, 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 and this, you wouldn't be in the situation you're in. Would that have helped him? But how many times have we done that? How many times have we just gone ahead and just let everybody know how it is? I'm just going to give you the facts. Here's the problem. We know the facts. We need to hear. I need to hear. We need to hear. I believe in you. He didn't need to hear the facts. He knew them. And so I'd say about 7 years ago is what I told Mac with this grace and gratitude is I started giving people grace. Because I realized that change doesn't happen overnight. It takes time.
Amen.
Change is a journey. It can take a lifetime, Monica. It can literally, put it this way, we don't ever fully arrive. If we ever fully arrive to a situation, say, hey, I got this thing, man, everything's good. I've got it all figured out. I know what to say to my spouse 24/7.
Yes, dear.
Why y'all laughing so hard? Guess I struck a nerve with that one. It's a good thing Paul and Argenio are sitting so far apart. Terry's sitting right beside Tia, so he just said, yes, dear. He just got it over with. About to get hurt. But we don't ever fully arrive at this change that we're going through. It's you got to give people, you got to be patient with people. And so people say to me, so you just don't do nothing? You just let everybody screw up? Sorta. But here's what I do. I have to be the example. That's harder. That takes time. JC, it'd be much easier. I could just sound off and tell you exactly everything you're doing wrong. Because it'd be quicker, in my mind. But instead, I got to be the example. And I got to hope and pray, Debbie, that you stay around long enough, you keep coming around long enough, you hang out at the TWC, you hang out at the activity call, you hang out, for the love of God, you hang out at our family reunion. That's right. You know what I'm saying? You go to NatCon, you go to Instant Thunder, and you keep coming back, Mark, and you keep coming back, Mark, and you keep coming back until that change takes place. And here's the deal. We got examples now.
Yeah, we do.
And I'm not talking about me. I'm talking we got examples within the Alliance.
That's right.
That are living who we are and how we behave. Excellence, service, respect, integrity, accountability, compassion, community, gratitude. We got many examples that are living that way or behaving that way. So all you got to do is just add people and make sure and be nice enough to where they keep coming back. Be nice enough to where they keep coming back. Hey, and if they screw up, guess what? They know. Just get them to come back. One of my incredible people that works in my office, her name's Tanya Shakori. She's from Iran. And she joined the business, and she didn't do any, she was supposed to build and fast track and contract people. 3 months, she did nothing. I shouldn't say that. 3 months, she didn't fast track nobody. She didn't contract nobody. You with me? That was her job. That's what she was paid to do. I didn't get rid of her. She had a great attitude. She smiled. She was fun to be with. And she had this thirst, this hunger. She wanted something different. And she would ask me, why didn't you fire me? She goes, you would come in here and tell me you believed in me. I was expecting to get terminated. And she goes, you told me the first day you met me that that you believed in me and I was going to kill this thing. You didn't know me. And I said, what would you expect me to do? Did you want me to tell you all the things you've done wrong? Tim Goad has taught me that if you want a good marriage, speak the marriage that you want. Quit blaming it on your wife. If she's the problem, he tells me I created that. So I spoke to what I wanted in this young lady. She's 23 years old, right? And now she's smoking. Now she's killing it. 3 months on payroll. Did nothing. I shouldn't say did nothing. I got to get rid of that. But y'all get you feel me? For 3 months. And here's why I tell that story. You ready? This is going to hurt you. Because you got agents that you've brought into the business, and you ain't as patient with them as I was with the person I was paying. Wow. I'm paying this young lady. Y'all ain't paying the agent, and yet you ain't patient with the agent. You frustrated. Here's what you're frustrated with. You're frustrated with yourself. Because you haven't brought somebody else in and you're putting all the pressure on this one person. So I said, Mac, that's what happened with me. I started giving people grace. And instead of getting Nick to go out and write business today to make me money, I got another Nick. And Nick will be ready when Nick's ready. And now Nick's killing it. He's got a massive team.
Yeah, he does.
Everybody loves him. He loves everybody.
That's right.
And he didn't come here that way. I remember I flew home from my first meeting of meeting him. I said, Trina, he's got some colorful language. He's a little angry. I don't know what he's angry at yet, but we'll find out. And I later learned. He lost his mother at a young age. His dad wasn't the dad he needed to be. You see what I'm saying? I could have made it all about me and how he needs to go out and do something. Right? Be patient. So that's what's really happened over the last 5 years. Just be patient. Just give people grace. And then gratitude. You got to find some gratitude in you, man. You got to find some gratitude in you. You got to find some gratitude in you. It's like people just think that you're just naturally grateful all the time. You would be like on drugs 24/7 if you like grateful all the time. Woo! That's called illegal substances. And I ain't on those.
That's right.
I have to choose to be grateful. Like I'm still amazed by plane travel. I make myself amazed by plane travel. Here's how. Yesterday morning, I had breakfast with my wife in Dallas, Texas. I flew to Greensboro and hung out with these two incredible men and had dinner. All in the same day. How'd that happen? Like this big old plane that's got a lot of metal on it, somehow, some way, got off the dadgum ground and got me here. I might add first class. Times have changed a little bit. Times have changed. But you see what I'm saying? I'm still amazed. I think that's cool. I think how cool is life that I got to eat breakfast with my wife, I got to eat dinner with these guys, and then I got to hang out with one of the best hot spots in the world, Greensboro Hotspot last night. But that's all a choice. That's all a choice to look at it that way. I choose to look at it that way. Other people that are flying on them planes with me, they're like, that's just the way they work. You just get on the plane and you go. They got no gratitude towards it whatsoever. I'm still amazed by it. I make a choice, Deb, to be like, really? Eat dinner, breakfast and dinner here and then hang out with Debbie and oh my God, life is good. And I got to go first class. George Anashok is, we like to call him in our organization just the most grateful human being you ever met. He won't let you carry your bag. He won't let you carry your coffee. This dude's so grateful to be alive. He cherishes the moment to serve people. He's pretty serious about it too. One day, I got in the front seat, me and Phil, or I was trying to get in the back seat of the car, and I told George to get in the front seat. And he said, no, you'll ride in the front. And I said, no, it's no big deal, dude. I don't mind being in the back because I can read, I can get some stuff done, catch up some text messages, it's all good. He said, no, you will ride in the front. And I'm like, ha ha ha. Shut up, get in the seat. He opens my door and he says, you're getting in the front. And I said, dude, seriously, we got to go. Get your butt in the front seat, we out of here. He goes, it's my culture, it's who I am. I do not ride in the front seat with someone that I respect as much as you. You ride in the front. And I'm like going, dude, okay, fine, whatever what culture it is, shut up. Just get in the front seat. Let's get out of here. He goes, I'm going to pick you up and put you in the front seat. And I was like, shut up. Get in the front seat. But then he gave me a look. And I was like, holy crap, he's going to pick me up. He's going to pick me up. And so Toby, I was like, oh, no, I got it. I will get in the front seat on my own. Don't need to see a grown man pulled out of a car. But here's what people miss so often is it's a choice for him to be grateful. He's got stuff going on in his life. He didn't come here with all these great, oh yay, everything's great in my life. He came here with challenges. He came here with heartache. He came in here questioning life. You know what I'm saying? But yet, no one knows that. They just see him as this grateful human being. In fact, anytime I talk to someone at corporate office and they say, man, I just talked to George Anashok. I just love talking to your team. You see what he's done? She's called it my whole team, and it was one man. You see how important you are? See how important we all are? So this is a decision he makes, and I just want him to share with you for a little bit some of the struggle he's gone through, the man he's becoming, right? Yeah. And how blessed we all are to have this guy in our lives. Please give it up for my good friend, George Anashok. Thank you.
Hey guys, Paul, thank you so much. I know I don't have to say this, but I love you. I love you, Phil, Terry, love you, Andy Albright, Jane Albright. I'm just so honored to be here, this TWC. I've been with the Alliance now about 19 months, a little over a year and a half, and it's changing my life. It's been the best decision I've made, and when I was 5 years old, a little bit about me, when I was 5 years old, my parents got divorced, so I didn't grow up in that perfect household. I didn't have a male role model or a father figure teach me how to be a man and do the things right like a man should do for his family when he grows up. But the example that I had was my mom. She was a very hard worker. She was always determined to provide a good life for her 3 children. I have a brother and a sister. And I just always saw her work hard and make it happen. She's from Korea. She's got a little language barrier. But she always learned a way to make it happen. And, and I thank her for everything that she's done for me in my life. And, so I didn't finish college. I went to school for 3 semesters to play football and realized I wasn't going to make it to the pros. So, came back home because I didn't like the town I was in and was going to take a little break like a lot of college students do. I'm kind of like, I can relate a lot to Paul Roberts when he said, it was K to 12th grade. Why do we need to keep on going? That was the law. And I just, I don't think I'm a doorknob, but I just didn't like school, And so I came back home. My mom said, "Hey, why don't you work with me in my business instead of going back to the grocery store where I was working as a cashier?" And I said, "Sure." And a little time was going by. I thought I was going to take a semester off of school, and it turned out to be like a year, maybe a year and a half. And I told her, I said, "Hey, I've got to figure something out. I just don't want to be a 30-year-old loser one day working for my mom." You know what I mean? And so she gave me the opportunity to buy one of her businesses. So I did that. She said, "Do you want to go back to school, or do you want to, buy one of my businesses?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll buy one of your businesses." And she allowed me to make payments. I did that. That took me down to Laredo, Texas, which is a border town. So I was 21 years old, owning my own business, and things were going good. I was kind of lucky, right place, right time kind of thing, and met now she's my ex-wife, but I met my wife while I was down there, and we got married in 2005, and everything was going great. I took her, I married her. She had 2 children, so I became a stepfather, took them in like they were my own kids. I took on that responsibility. My daughter was born in April of 2006, basically one of the happiest days of my life. And things were going great. Business was good. Looked like we had the perfect little modern family, right? And in about 2 years after my daughter was born, things changed. 2008, I know it was a hard year for a lot of people, but it was like the perfect hurricane, the perfect storm for me. At the beginning of 2008, February 2008, my wife and I, ex-wife, but my wife and I, we were going into Mexico to get a permission for her vehicle to drive into Mexico, to drive deeper into Mexico, and ended up crossing with some merchandise from my business in the back of the vehicle. So when we got pulled over by the Mexican customs, they asked, what do you have in your vehicle? I said nothing. They saw the merchandise in the back, so they considered it contraband, like I was smuggling stuff into Mexico, without paying duties on it, without paying taxes. So, make a long story short, I'm driving in there with the new $55,000 vehicle. We've had it for 1 month only. And the customs guys tell me, in Mexico they do things a little different. So they tell me, "Hey, if you want us to leave you alone, give us $25,000. They see the merchandise, they see a pretty wife, they see a nice car, they think I got a lot of money, and so I'm thinking, there's no way. That stuff right there is worth like maybe $500. I'm not going to give you $25,000 for this. And make a long story short, I end up spending a week in a Mexican prison, and looking back, I wish I would have paid the $25,000 because of with all the legal fees and getting me out of prison ended up costing me over $100,000 over about a year of fighting the Mexican government. And we did that because my wife always told me she wanted me to clear my name. She wanted me to one day be able to travel back into Mexico, and she said, "It's not fair what they did to you, and I don't like that you've got this on your name." Like my name was tarnished, I guess, in Mexico. And I was just like, "Look, it's okay. I just won't go to Mexico. We'll go to beaches in Florida or California or Fiji, But Yeah, you know, but she was adamant. She wanted to fight it, and it cost me over $100,000. And you know, while I was going through this, I'm thinking, you know, I'm in this Mexican prison, actually a little scared for my life too. And I'm just thinking, you know, why is this happening to me? You know, I do things right. I'm a good person. I consider myself a very good person. I like to treat people the way I want to be treated. And you know, I was just wondering why. You know, everybody has that moment. Why me? When you're going through a hard time, or when you're going through something very difficult. And you know, I got out of there, and you know, Paul talks about my gratitude and stuff. And I don't think any of my clients, when I went back to my business, knew about my story, what I've been through. You know, because I just went back to work like it was normal. You know, people can feel when you're not right. You know, and there's no need, and I didn't feel like explaining that to every customer who walked into my business, because my business was a wholesale business, and I was really close with my customers. They were return customers, and so we had a relationship. And, you know, it's not something that you just want to go through the story over and over and over again. So I go to work, happy-go-lucky, like nothing ever happened. I was grateful that I was out of that prison. I was grateful that I was back home with my family, my little baby that was just born 2 years ago. And, you know, there's always just a way to be positive about every situation. And, you know, I think God, I guess I was blessed with that gift of just having that gratitude in my heart. You know, we were having a discussion with Paul, and we were just saying, hey, is gratitude, do you think, something that people can learn? He said, definitely people can learn it, but definitely people are just born with it also. You know, so that happened at the beginning of 2008. I was in prison. I had, you know, for Valentine's, my daughter was born. It was 2 years. My wife and I, we didn't do any vacationing or anything like that because my baby was born. We didn't really do much. It's hard to travel with a brand new baby. So for Valentine's, I had a surprise for her. I had a trip to go skiing. She loved to ski, so I had a trip planned to go to Colorado and go skiing for the week. And, you know, so while I was in prison, I had to tell her, hey, there's a Valentine's card in the closet. It's got the tickets and everything. The hotel, everything was paid for, everything, and that was my gift to you for Valentine's, to go skiing. Just go and take one of your sisters or a friend or something, but like don't make it go to waste. I'll figure out what's going to happen over here. You know, I just wanted, you know, I didn't want to go to waste, and I wanted her to enjoy that gift that I gave, and she said, you know, there's no way. So end of 2008. You know, financial crisis hits. My business goes down 90%. And, you know, that happy modern-day family, still happy, but financially start straining. And as everybody probably knows here, I think the largest cause of divorce is financial situation. So, you know, things were getting tough. I started having to depend on credit cards for to keep my quality of life for my family, the house that we're living in, the private schools that they were going to. And so, you know, living off of credit cards ended up becoming over $100,000 in debt to credit cards. And, you know, to get that credit, you had to be good. You know, I would always do things right. You know, I would pay my stuff like I should, and the circumstances didn't allow me to pay off those credit cards. So eventually I had to stop paying credit cards because it was pay these credit cards or buy food for the family, you know. And that ruined my credit. Cars started to get repoed. They started looking for that car that was confiscated, that $55,000 car, and just things were going bad. And make a long story short, 2013 we ended up getting divorced. And you know, as a man, as a father, you know, you want to make sure that you're providing for your family. You know, my parents got divorced when I was growing up, and my best friend Phil, his parents never got divorced. They've been married over 35 years. And I remember going over to his house, and I remember wanting that for my family when I had a family. You know, I didn't want my daughter to have to grow up with her mommy and daddy separated, you know, because I know at the end of the day, no matter what mistakes we make or whatever, no matter what, that's always going to be mommy, that's always going to be daddy to your kids. And, you know, I did everything I could to fight for that marriage. I got in that sushi business. When I started out, I was working 7 days a week, 12 to 15 hours a day, struggling to fight to keep things going for my family. And started going to church to just, you know, fix myself too, to just, you know, I didn't want that for my family. Those two kids that I took on as stepkids, I didn't want them to go through another divorce. And, you know, that happened, and that was probably the hardest time that I've ever had in my life, getting a divorce and just seeing my daughter cry when I would leave her back at home or something. You know, she was 7 years old, and it's just, you know, something that I struggled with a lot, and you know, it's just tough. But so things go on. You know, we can't take that to our daily lives. You know, we can't take that to work. We can't take that to business and all that kind of stuff. So you got to, you know, toughen up and just go on. And like I said, it just, I don't know, with all that experience and everything, it just, my experiences have helped me to deal with whatever struggle that I'm going through, and not, you know, hey, I don't want Paul, when I see Phil, if I'm seeing him for 2 or 3 days, if I'm seeing him at family reunion, I don't want them to be worried about, man, George looks a little down right now. What's going on with him? It's just something that I guess I just learned naturally to deal with. And, you know, so I'm there making sushi every morning, you know, 7:30 in the morning, making sushi, and I'm just thinking, man, I want something more for my life. I want to give a better quality of life to my daughter, and I was just thinking, what can I do? You know, I mean, I'm broke. I'm living basically week to week. I own my own business, but, you know, it's week to week. It's week to week, just like anybody getting a paycheck, living week to week. And, you know, I didn't have money, so if I wanted to try to open it, I got bad credit. No one's going to give me a loan. You know, what friend is going to loan me whatever it takes to open a business, you know, and be like, hey, if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, I'm sorry, you're out $100,000. You know what I mean? And so I was just thinking, like, I knew I wanted something more in my life. I just didn't know what. I didn't know how I was going to get that. And, you know, I am just so grateful and happy that I'm here today. You know, I love the Alliance. I love the people in the Alliance. And thank you so much, Phil, for thinking about me and not giving up. It took me a little while to come around. You know, Phil talked to me in May, and it took him and Paul Roberts coming down to McAllen. I'm pretty sure anybody here ever heard of McAllen before today? Or yeah? Okay, one person. All right. So Paul's coming down to McAllen, Texas, and that's, I don't know, it's just been a blessing in my life. That's like, I guess, day number 2, happiest day of my life. He comes down, does a hotspot, and I'm fired up. You know, I'm fired up out of my mind. I'm thinking, okay, here I am. I've been doing business all my life, adult life, 18 years. I've got nothing to show for it, $100,000 in debt. And here's a man talking to us in this living room in McAllen, Texas. And he's been with the Alliance at the time 12 or 13 years, and he's making $70,000 or $80,000 a month. And I'm just like, I'm blown away. You know, he shows a plan, I'm listening to him, and inside I was just, I don't know if Paul or Phil saw this, but inside I was just jumping up and down. You know, I had hope again. I had something to look forward to again in my life. You know what I mean? It wasn't the same old routine. Wake up, go make sushi, see the same people in the grocery store every weekend, week out, you know, deal with the stress of running employees and stuff. But I was fired up, you know, and Paul said, hey, man, people who can have a childlike faith, spirit of gratitude, follow Andy Albright, follow the 8 steps of success, are going to be successful in this business. And you can do exactly what I'm doing. And he said, hey, man, if you can do this, we have a convention. It was an Instant Thunder. He said, you know, I was struggling with money, but I was like, oh, yeah, sure, I can do it, no problem, you know. And he says, you know, he says, hey, you get there and I'll pay for your ticket, and I'm going to introduce you to a lot of people, and it's going to fire you up. And I was like, okay, sure, I'm there. I come over here, and that's how the legend began. Now, when I say legend, I'm not talking about me, okay? I'm talking about calling Mr. Paul Roberts a legend, okay? Because, you know, I got here and I was introducing myself, and you know, I was saying, hey, I'm on Paul Roberts' team, and everybody was just, all the stuff that they were saying about him, I was just like blown away, because here he is, and at the time he's got this long rocker hair, you know, he's doing a hot spot, and I'm just like, okay, I don't know how much I can trust this guy. I don't know anything about him, you know, but I come to headquarters, I see his posters all along the walls in here. I'm walking to the restroom and I see a storage room, the door cracked open. I see another poster of him and Tamara. I walk upstairs, I'm getting a tour of the headquarters, and I see another picture of him in the conference room up there when Andy Albright eats lunch or has a conferences. And I'm just like, man, this guy was in McAllen, Texas. And this guy's a legend. This guy is, you know, he's someone important in this company. And, I never took him for granted ever again. He comes to McAllen 2 times a month. Sometimes it was 3 times a month when we were getting started. And I've always been so grateful to him for taking, this man can go anywhere in the country. He can fly anywhere in the country, and he flies down to McAllen, Texas, little old McAllen, Texas, where no one's heard of, to help us, to build us, to help us grow. My 18 years as an adult, I think the only way that I've grown is maybe my waistline. That's going to change. But the last 18 months with the Alliance, with Paul, with Phil, with Andy Albright, just listening to them week in, week out, I've grown more in 18 months as a man, as a person, as somebody who's running a business, someone treating people that, when I was still doing my sushi business when I started here, and I was learning how to treat them better because of the Alliance. I was learning like, hey, don't just harp on them about all their mistakes, and it's a little hard. I was following Gordon Ramsay at the time, but now I'm following Paul Roberts, okay? But I was learning all this stuff. I'm learning how to be a better dad, a better person, a better friend. And, in this 18 months, 19 months that I've been here, it has been definitely worth it. I've got to ride on Andy's brand new plane. I was his first 3-city tour. I was on that with Paul and the other leaders, Adam Katz, Lampy. It was amazing. My first year with the Alliance, I earned Hawaii, earned Maui, and when I started, I didn't think I could do some of the things that I accomplished that first year, and when I started out, I was kind of piddling around, doing 5,000, 6,000 a month, and the first time I heard Andy Albright call my name on a TWC for hitting Good Samaritan bonus, I was fired up. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. I was nationwide, and right now I can't believe, hope I'm not messing up, but I'm on TWC talking right now, and I'm honored. It's been a huge privilege just to be part of this organization. I'm so glad I'm doing life with my best friend, and money getting deposited in my month, seeing deposits of $17,000, $18,000 a month, and it's just mind-boggling. I know it's going to get better. Childlike faith, spirit of gratitude, following the 8 steps to success. That trip in Hawaii, I got to hang out with my Alliance family. I got to get to know people better, the relationships. Guys fight for these trips. Paul Roberts would always talk about these trips and our hot spots, and I was just like, hey man, making $2,000 or $3,000 extra a month is awesome, and I went to Hawaii, and I know exactly what he's talking about now. I really didn't, Hawaii was not my goal. It just happened because I started doing things. I started plugging in more, and when I found myself plugging in more, I saw the numbers getting better, and it wasn't hard. It was just a little bit more. Andy Albright says just one more. And it's amazing because it is. It's one more door knock, one more, whatever it is, just one more. And I remember there's 2 things that really stick out in my mind. And this is why I'm going to love Paul Roberts for the rest of my life. I'm going to be a Roberts rock star for the rest of my life. But I had my first, if you want to call it my breakout week, I did 6,000 AP. And he was in an agency manager meeting in Los Cabos with Andy Albright and the whole, agency manager ring of champions or ring of managers. And he took his time out. He gives me a call. He goes, bro, I am jumping up and down right now. I'm in front of Andy Albright, jumping up and down for you right now. I'm so proud of you. And, my last 18 years running business and stuff, never have I had somebody tell me I'm proud of you, and I used to win awards with the sushi business, best sales, best whatever, and nobody really took the time to say, hey, I'm proud of you. And I was really touched by that. And number 2, when I was getting frustrated with my sushi business, I thought I was going to just do the Alliance part-time the rest of my life. I did not think it was going to be something that I was going to do full-time. And there was a turning point sometime in the summer, and I started talking to Paul and Phil, and I said, guys, I think I want to give up my sushi business and do this full time. And Paul was like, okay, easy. We'll talk about this later when I feel like you're a little bit more ready. And I gave myself a goal. I wanted to hit SEAL team 3 months in a row. I figured if I can do that, if I can do 20,000 AP a month, I would be replacing my income running the sushi business. So I did that, and you know, I told Paul, I said, hey, Paul, I think I'm ready. He said, listen, I'd like to do this conversation in person, but look, don't make any decisions now. And I said, I want to do this. And he said, look, I believe in you. I have faith in you. I know you're going to be great. But I would really like, and I'm thinking I'm a BP at the time. He says, I would really like for you to be agency manager before you make this decision, because I don't want you to feel the pressure or the financial strain, you know. And I was just blown away. I was like, man, you know what? After that phone call, I was like, wow, he really cares about me. You know, he's fought for me. I had bad credit when I started this business. He fought for me with some of the carriers so that I could get appointed. And you know, it's crazy easy to be grateful to that man, you know. And I'm grateful to the Alliance. I know this is where I want to be for the rest of my life. Yeah, a lifer. And I'm at the right place with the right people. You know, you go to Greensboro and you hear Terry Edwards introduce us as superstars in a company. I mean, what other company you gonna feel that from? That love from other people. You know what I mean? And when we're in Hawaii, took my mom. You know, my mom's going through a lot of stuff. She's a little depressed, but I guess I learned from her too. When Paul met my mom, he probably wouldn't have thought she was battling some, you know, illness, and she's not perfect health, and that she was depressed. But that was the best feeling for me to say thank you to my mom. She hadn't gone on a real vacation in years, and for me to say thank you to her after everything that she's done for me, and that was all because of the Alliance. Because there's no way in the world that I would have been able to afford taking her on a trip with me to somewhere as beautiful as Hawaii and Maui. And you know, it's a funny story. We had dinner with Jane and Andy and a couple other people, and she had one too many wines.
Mama was having fun. Mama was having fun.
You know, and she said a couple things that would probably embarrass everybody in this room. And the people that were at the table with us, I was worried about, like, man, they're going to bash me. I'm going to be the laughing stock of the Alliance. And, you know, my mom was having fun. And they're, George, relax. Let her have fun. She's enjoying herself. And, you know, when Jane Albright texted me the next morning, like, man, I love your mom. Don't worry about it. She's a sweetheart. And you know, and I'm thinking, I never worked in the corporate world or something like that, but I'm thinking if I did, I can just imagine maybe even getting fired, some of the things that she said in that hotel room. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I gotta go start looking for a job. You know, the stuff that she was saying to Andy Albright, I mean, I probably looked as red as a tomato, and I was just... And everybody after that was just loving on me, loving on my mom, and that's what we have at the Alliance. And I mean, I can promise you, you're not going to find that anywhere else. And I am just so grateful and thankful that I'm here, that I'm part of the Alliance, that I'm with Paul Roberts, and just thank you, Phil, for bringing me in. And you know, my best friend Phil since middle school brought me in this business, and I'm forever grateful to you, buddy.
That's G-Shock right there. Hey.
That's him. Rockstar.
Hey, you know what the crazy thing is I've known that guy since 6th grade. I didn't know all that he was going through. We don't talk about that stuff. I just learned about that yesterday. Because of where we're at now with the Alliance, we're talking about where we're headed to. We're not talking about where we've been. So my name is Phil Hebert. I've been with the Alliance this is my 2nd full year. Before I get started, I just want to say thank you, Andy and Jane Albright, for what you have created here. Thank you to the leaders that have come before us. Like, I don't take this for granted standing here. I am truly grateful for having the opportunity to be here. All the sweat and tears and energy that you put into making this the place to be. So thank you very much. I grew up, I think, just the normal life. Nothing really crazy happened to me. Like you said, my parents have been married over 35 years, 40 years. I lost track. I always had them as an example of somebody to look at for hard workers, right? So I really just did whatever they told me to do because I didn't know what else to do. They set the example of hard work. They told me, hey, Phil, finish high school, go to school, go to college, get you a degree, and then get a job and stay there for 30 plus years and retire. Yeah. Well, my dad's an example of a hard worker, so he was just trying to figure things out in life himself. So he just told me what he thought he knew. I did that, and I said, all right, Pops, I'm going. And I got that degree, I got that paper, and I thought I was going to take it from here, walk over to the job, and say, all right, where's my $75,000 to $100,000 a year? All right? And like my eyes were opened up. I started out in the corporate world making 30 grand a year. Right? I was like, God, I went through about 6 years of college. So I just started working. I did what I had to do. I made it work because I had to make it work. I probably stayed at that job too long because I was always promised something. He said, man, Phil, you're doing a great job. You're going to get that promotion. So I stayed there for 7 years. In 2008, when you hear about all the people in the Alliance making great money, we were on a pay freeze for 3 years. So we didn't get anything. But I stuck it out because I was always promised. I'm a single dad. I had a son at the time that was 2 years old. He's now 11. And when the time came for me to get that promotion, they said, all right, Phil, you're in Dallas, Texas. If you want that, you got to go to Chicago or Atlanta. And I was a single dad. For that to happen, I would have had to leave him and go start a life up there, and there was no way I was doing it. I told them, I said, thank you very much. I'm going to have to turn it down. This is what I've been fighting for, but I'm going to have to turn it down. So I was like, all right, I need to find something else. What's the next step in life? So like anybody else, I was like, well, let's go back to school, right? I thought that was the answer. And I thought I was the only one doing it was the problem. So I got into class, and I was sitting down, and I looked around. I said, oh, my God, there's like 50 other people here with the same idea. I was like, a master's degree doesn't separate you that much these days. It did help me. I went on to a new job. I was climbing that corporate ladder. I wasn't happy. Jeff Bright talks about it all the time. The corporate life sucks the energy out of you, right? Everybody's driving to work every morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, all fighting traffic, giving the number 1 sign, right? But not what we do in the Alliance, right? Everybody's walking around like robots at work, right? Unhappy. They're like, oh, it's Monday again, right? And then Friday gets here. Oh, well, Monday's going to be here pretty soon. So I knew that wasn't my place to be. I knew I had to find an out. I had to find something else. I always had a big dream of owning a business, making a difference in life, and being somewhere that I felt comfortable. I never felt comfortable at the corporate world. I just did it because I had to do it. So during that time frame, I got my insurance licenses because I knew that was a good industry to make some money. I had some success part-time while I was working at the corporate job, and I was like, well, shoot, I'm making like some great money part-time. Why don't I just go create the business on my own and do it myself? So I did that. I left the corporate world, turned in my badge. I said, I had a partner at the time, and what we were trying to create there is what Andy Albright has here, right? The first 6 months was great. The second 6 months wasn't so great. On the outside, it looked great, right? I'll be honest, I was one of those Facebook people that said, life was great. Pictures were great. We traveled to Las Vegas, filmed some TV shows. Nobody knew I was struggling inside. I remember like sitting at a cafe doing some work, And just thinking to myself, I was like, man, I got to find something else. I was praying for something else. I need to be somewhere else. Like, I'm like Paul. I'm still learning. Thankfully to Tim Goad, I'm learning this whole religion thing. And I was like, God, I just need to be somewhere. Well, at that time is when Paul Roberts called me. I was on a list of names, and he left a message. He probably don't even remember because he calls so many lists of names. And it took me about 2 weeks to get back to this man. Because I was thinking, well, maybe my pride's in the way. Let me see if this business will last. So I finally called him back. I said, hey, Paul, you called me a couple weeks ago, just returning your call. And he invited me to meet the team. Thank God he did, because the people I've met in this family, I don't like to say company. I don't like to say I'm at the corporate office right now. I like to say I'm at the family headquarters, the family house, right? The main house. I always had a role model of hard work growing up, but I never had mentors in the business. I never had somebody show me the next steps in business and personal life, somebody I can lean on to get advice in that aspect. But this business has transformed my life. This family has transformed my life because of Andy Albright, Tim Goad, and Paul Roberts. Like, what they're teaching me, I pass down to my son, right? And I don't take that lightly. There was one time, I'll never forget it. There was one time trying to teach my son manners, right? Not the easiest thing to do all the time. But on his own, he went out and opened a door for a lady coming out. I was like, good job, bud. Where'd you learn that? He was like, well, Dad, if I'm just friendly or easy to get along with, people will like me, right? And he hears us talking about that all the time when we're bringing people into the business. You got to be friendly, easy to talk to, and have a spirit of gratitude. And I never told him that, but it was what he overhears when we're working every day, when we're doing this business. Like, he's proud of what I do now. I never wanted him around the corporate world. I'm proud to have him here.
That's awesome.
So I was invited to the Louisville hotspot. Wasn't really sure what to expect. I got out there, and I'm used to the corporate environment, right? So when I got out around these people, I was like, I remember Jeremy Patton was behind me. I was sitting in this corner, right, just kind of minding my own business, not saying a whole lot. Jeremy Patton said, "That's right." Right? And I looked, I was like, all right, maybe that was a mistake. And then he said, "That's right." And I looked, I was like, ooh, maybe he's not okay. And then he said it a third time, "That's right." And he was like jumping, doing his little dance. Somebody might want to check on this guy. Right? Does he need some medicine or something? But I just fell in love. Like, I knew this was the place to be. Something told me to follow that man. Having him as a mentor, I know I'm on the right path. I get coached by him on a daily basis, and I look at it as I get coached by three men. I don't talk to Andy and Tim every single day, but I do through that man. I know I can follow him as the example because he's following Andy and Tim. I can't go wrong. Now, coming into the business, right, life was looking great. I didn't tell anybody about my problems, but I got to that hotspot meeting in Louisville, and then, like, I went through all the financial problems that we hear about. I was broke. I had to borrow money. I didn't have any money to invest. Car was repossessed. Like, I got really good at that car repossession thing, right? So I would drive home, Well, first of all, I made sure not to keep anything important in my car. Because if I happen to go into the grocery store and come back out, I didn't want to be like missing a laptop or anything. So I did this as long as I thought it was cool to do it. So I would drive home at night, and I would open the garage door with the remote. I'd slide the car in the garage, close it real quick, and then I'd go upstairs and I'd look down, and there's the repo man. I promise you, he would get out of his car, and he would look at the license plate in the driveway. No, that ain't it. That ain't it. Where's this car? It's supposed to be at this address. It's crazy, but life was not ideal coming into this business. But I know Paul talks about childlike faith. Something was telling me to follow these people, to follow this family, and I did it. And I didn't tell anybody about my struggles. I didn't tell anybody about all that was going on in life. I got advice from my uncle at one time that this is the only part I listen to him. I don't listen to all my uncles, right? But he said something good. He said, Phil, when you get into an organization, keep your head down and work. Don't come in here, talk smack, bring your personality, but keep your head down, learn their business, learn their organization. After about a year or so, then you can start speaking up. But my job at that time is my decisions got me to where I was in life.
That's good.
So what I had to do is realize that and say, all right, I need to make a change. These guys are where I want to be, who I want to do life with, and I'm just going to keep my head down and work. I'm not where I want to be right now, ultimately, right? There's still a lot of growth to happen. So if you're going through some struggles right now, just know it's going to get better. It's temporary. I was always listening to motivational recordings at the time. I was told my bank account doesn't determine my future. My current situation isn't where I'm going to go in life. So I remember my son telling me, kids want stuff, right?
Yeah.
They want you to buy them stuff. He said, Daddy, I remember he was asking me, he was like, can you buy this for me? And I said, he would ask me multiple times, and I was trying to avoid him. Like, maybe he'd forget. But he don't forget. He's a pretty smart kid. I said, son, I can't. I don't have any money. And, oh God, that was so tough to do. I'll never forget that. And Andy says it. He said, don't forget where you came from.
That's right.
That's what motivates me every day. I had to look at him, and I remember I was sitting up after that happened. I went upstairs. I sat down, and I just cried. And I was thinking, man, how did I get myself here? I did everything my parents told me to do. I went to college, got me a good job, and I'm not where I want to be in life. Why am I here like this and can't provide for my son? So thank God I met this family. Some struggles I went through at the beginning of the business. I didn't have the money to invest. George talked about us coming down to McAllen to do a hotspot. What he didn't say is, Paul told me, he said, get down there. He said, we can build something special. And we have, meeting this man. Remember, my car got repossessed. Texas is big. Dallas is up here. McAllen is down here. That's about a 8 to 10 hour car ride. Paul never knew this until a few months ago. He said, you get down there, we're going to build something special. And I said, okay. I had that childlike faith. I was like, I got to do it. I got to get down there. I took a Greyhound bus to get down there. That's like a 12 to 14 hour trip. Because I was listening to this man. I knew, just do what he tells me to do. Step right, I'm going to step right, Paul. Step left, I'm going left. I don't need to question him. I don't need to bring my opinions to the game. I need to leave those outside because my opinions and my decisions got me to not where I want to be in life. So I just need to listen to him going forward. So I went down to McAllen. That was a trip on that Greyhound bus, right? Like I saw people getting on with great orange mesh bags. I was like, oh, those are cool backpacks. And then I saw them getting off, going to the bathroom and changing. I was like, oh, they just got out of jail, right? Which is fine, but I just pulled my bag a little closer. And I stayed down there for 3 weeks. We had a hot spot. We had dial sessions. I had a big group of people. We were running business. I didn't have a car. Like George asked me, why don't you get a car? Get a rental car. I ain't got a credit card to... That was at the point where they changed that darn rental cars from being able to use a debit card to actually having to have a credit card. What? And I'd argue with the people, well, we just did it like 6 months ago. Dang. Right? But nobody knew I was going through those struggles because I knew following this family, following Andy, Tim, Paul Roberts, I was going to be where I wanted to be. So I just kept quiet. He thought life was good. Everybody down there thought life was good. I believed life was going to get gooder, right? I didn't worry about my current situation. I believed in myself. I believed in this family, and I knew where we were going in the future. Thank God we went down there because now I'm doing business with my best friend since 6th grade. I had other struggles, so like, and the reason I'm saying this is because if you're going through struggles, it's going to get better. Don't worry about it right now. The money's going to be there in this business. Jump all in, childlike faith, and just do what they tell you to do. I went up another 5-hour trip. Well, before I tell that one, like Paul told me at the time, this is how much childlike faith I had in the guy. He said, hey, Phil, you should go run business in Louisiana. I said, all right, yeah, cool. I've never been out to, my last name is Abear, but I haven't been to Louisiana. He said, go out to Lake Charles. It's about a 4-hour drive. And I just believed the guy. I said, okay, I'm going, get some leads. Got a car somehow and made it out there. I was going for like several months. And I was like, every time I would take a different route, I was like, he told me it was 4 hours. And this is like every appointment I booked at the beginning for those first few months, I'd always get there late, and I'd have to reschedule on the person. I was like, man, every route I'm going through Houston, around Houston, down by the coast, it takes me 6 hours. And I went back and told Paul, and we just had a good old laugh and have good times. Another struggle I went through at the beginning of the business is I went to run business up far north Texas. It was about a 4 to 5 hour drive. I was able to get a rental car up there, but I had to turn it in. But I was training an agent at the time. I was running business in the car with an agent. So when I got up there, I had to turn in the car. And so I was like, hey, let's run business in your car, right? You drive, since you know the area, I'll make sure we're going to the right address. You don't get lost. She had no idea, right? Because I don't need to tell her that at the time. And I knew, I was like, how am I going to get home, right? It's a 5-hour drive. I don't have a rental car to get home. You have to be creative. I didn't hitchhike. But I knew following it and having that childlike faith, it's all going to work out.
That's right.
Just go. Just like Andy says, just go. Go do the do. Don't worry about anything. Everything's going to work out. I convinced her to drive me from there to Dallas. And she was fired up, right? Because we were talking about the places we were going. We were talking about where we're taking over, right? Opportunity. So she didn't even question. She was thanking me for the ride home because we had such a good time. She's like, thank you so much for this. This made my day. She didn't know all the other stuff. Again, if you're going through struggles, it's all right. Everything's going to be fine with this family. We're enjoying some victories now, right? First full year in the business with the family. Went to Hawaii, right? Got to play volleyball on the beaches of Hawaii. I didn't realize Tia was such I swear she's a pro volleyball player back in the day. She was spiking on us, digging the balls, flying across the... I don't think you knew it, Terry, did you? Yeah. Walked into the Fairmont, right? The big old entrance in the Fairmont. You have the sunset in front of you. Beautiful, right? Hanging out with my best buddy. Get to see my mom and his mom together. They're best buddies. Going to Paris.
That's right.
Right? Going to Paris.
That's right.
Multiple times I've had $20,000 in a month put into my bank account. Right? Just on annuities, been paid out $80,000. Right? Life is good. Again, it's not where I want to be. I'm here. EVP and a senior board member.
That's right.
No doubt.
That's right.
And the most important thing, like I never have to look at my son and say, we can't do that.
That's awesome.
Because we can. Whatever you want to do. I'm teaching him how to dream big, right? Because this family. I know the reason it's happening is because Andy Albright, Tim Goad, and Paul Roberts. So, man, thank you so much for this.
So proud of you. That was gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Love you, man. Thank you. Those are warriors. Part of his story that gets me is he had that opportunity to go to Atlanta to take that job, and he chose his child over a job. And me and my sister didn't have that luxury. Our father's, the reason he left us is because he said he had to go work. And he was out of our lives from that point forward. And that's why I'm so attracted to that dude. For him just to say, It would have been easy to take that job. But God had a bigger plan for him. God had a bigger plan for him to come in here and meet y'all and be with y'all and inspire y'all and influence us all. And wow, I love it. And then G-Shock. I mean, sitting in a prison in Mexico for a week. And what I love about them both, is I didn't know all those struggles. They just fought and kept fighting. And like Andy Albright wanted me to share with y'all, it's worth it. It's worth it. Thank God they believed me when I said it was worth it. And I'm not worthy. You know, I say that a lot. I'm like, I'm not worthy to have these incredible men in my life. I have Chief Master Sergeant Penn in my life. 28 years in the Air Force. I'm not worthy. You know, people say to me, you are worthy. I ain't talking to you. I'm talking to God. God, I'm not worthy. I can't believe you've blessed me with such greatness. I can't believe you blessed me with such greatness as Andy Albright and Tim Goad. I can't believe you blessed me with such greatness as G-Shock and Michael and Jeremy and Hal. And it's like, no way. I'm not worthy. But I got it. And it's worth it. When Tamara and I came here, we were both broke too. We both struggled too. And I hated the times that we had to go through. I hated the struggles that we had to fight through. My wife's incredible. To stay with me through abusing alcohol for so many years, never giving up on me, never giving up on me, never giving up on me. Thank you, God, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy for your grace. I'm not worthy for her. I'm not worthy. But yet here I am. I better make the most of it.
That's right.
I better make the most of it because now I got it.
That's right.
I'm sober now. I better make the most of what I got. I ain't got time to waste.
That's right.
I ain't got time to sit around and worry about stuff. I ain't got time to sit around and try to change people. I just need to be an example for people. And it's worth it.
Yeah, it is.
Because the things that we're going through, the struggles that we had to go through of telling my wife, like Dr. Phil had to tell his son, I said, baby, I don't know when this is all going to go away, but it's going to go away. Her crying after the third car got repossessed. I said, I don't know when it's going to go away, but it's going to go away. Stay with me, baby doll. Stay with me. She goes, okay. And she fought with me side by side, and we went for it. And we kept fighting. But there was many more struggles and battles that we had to fight. One of the ones that just kills me, and I thought about it this morning, and it brought me to tears, is we had started making some really good money here. 2008, we made $414,000. 2009, we went over $500,000. Life is great, right? No, I was abusing alcohol like crazy at this point. I was tearing myself up because I was making more money now. I just became a bigger jerk of who I was. Because now I got more money to do more things. Right? I spent all of our money. Every chance I got, I spent it all. 2012, I get sober. Life should be great, right? Life should be awesome. That three-letter word, group of people, I don't even repeat it. Because I don't want them to show up like Beetlejuice. But they froze everything. They took everything. And the house that we fought for through all those years of not making money and we somehow, some way kept, we lost it now because everything was frozen. 2013, we're rolling in there with no money. We got employees now, Argenio. I can't let them down. I can't get rid of them. We got employees. I got an office now. I got a place where people come to. The IRS has taken everything. I've spent everything. I've messed up everything. And one of the ones that this is what killed me is we've always had this change jar at the house, and we always called it our pool jar, which is how we were going to build a pool, right? Tamara, knowing that she had to put on a certain image because we were making good money, and she didn't want y'all to know that image to be any differently. This is how strong this woman is. She put something on layaway at Neiman Marcus, and she says, "We need to go pick it up because we got a convention to go to." And Paula, she wanted to dress the part, and we weren't the part. But she found a way. And she's very sneaky, and she kind of had me go away to look at something else, and I go away, look at something else, and I come back to her. And she's paying that last payment with change from the jar. Change from the jar. That sucked, man. We're supposed to be on top of the world at this point. Like he said, there's pictures of me here. We couldn't let that in. We couldn't. It wasn't supposed to be this bad right now, right? God, I got sober. What's going on? You know? And here's my wife sneaking change in so I won't see it to make a payment so she can wear an outfit. Why is this happening, right? But it's worth it. God, it's worth it. We just bought a home. We just let's talk about fun stuff now. Billy, if you could show that first picture, big guy. She's gonna be mad at me that I'm showing y'all this right now because it's not completed. But she told me this morning, she goes, "I'll be listening to you, not hearing you." So she can't see this right now. So I feel pretty studly at this moment. This was all brown when we moved in, and one of the only wishes she had, she says, "I want everything white. I want all the cabinets white." And what happened is we kept looking for homes and looking for homes, and thank you, Jane, for texting Tamara and believing in her and loving on her this week. See, I gotta stop. What we say matters. We're in the mix of all this, of moving and all this craziness going on in our lives, and Jane sends Tamara a text and says, I'd love to hang out with you. More important than that house right there, that text. Okay? But let's get back to this. So everything was brown, so we turned it all white. And she hates these light fixtures. That's why she'd be mad at me for showing y'all this. Because the painters actually just took those down, but when I took the picture, they were up, right? And $8,000 that we had to pay in cash to do all this. And not 5 years ago, my wife was paying change to get an outfit. That's big, man. Like Andy said, I'm here to tell you, it's worth it. So that's just the kitchen. You can't see the floors. It's the most gorgeous hardwood floors I've ever laid my eyes on. That's why we bought the house. I was like, baby doll, did you see the hardwood floors? She goes, yes, but the cabinets are brown. And I said, but did you see the floors? Come on, work with me. And she goes, under one condition. When we move in, immediately, because I know you, we're going to change them cabinets and make them white. I said, no problem. And she goes, and I get to pick the painter? Because I was trying to pick other people. I was looking for Leroy, I tell you the truth, man. It's just some white paint painted. And dadgum, man, the things they're doing to our house is amazing. I mean, they sealed this. Go to the second picture. It might show where it's sealed off. No, not that one. Not that one. This one. I mean, they're like, you can see they're brown back there right now. I mean, they have shut our lives off. Here's the funny part. People keep asking me, so what's it like getting the new home? I said, I wish I knew. I bought a 4,200 square foot house, and right now, Toby, I'm living in a 14 by 12 room. Because the painters got everything, because the showers, the bathrooms all got to be painted. They're all brown. I mean, everything's got to be painted white, right? And it's like, so yes, I don't know what it's like yet, because I'm in a 14 by 12 room at this point, and it's like our dorm room. We got our coffee maker. I was telling Trina, I said, man, we're roughing it hard. It's horrible. I mean, we got the coffee maker right there, the Kirk, and then I got my espresso machine, and then we got this. And she goes, well, hold on. She goes, did you say espresso machine? And I'm still in my train of think. I was, yeah, it's right out there, right there in my man cave. It's horrible. She goes, I don't think you're roughing it, Paul. Are you hearing yourself speak? I said, okay, maybe I'm not roughing it too bad. You know what I'm saying? Had to have their espresso machine up in the kitchen right there. Okay. And so it's like, yes. Okay, go to the next picture. Yeah, so this is us in front of the house. That dude was 7'3". And probably the coolest story about this picture right there is me and my buddy Derek, who went to high school together. That's his company. He's a firefighter full-time, and he built the company on the side. He now has over 120-something trucks. He has almost all of Texas. Anywhere you drive in Texas, you see his big trucks driving around. And he's a lot like me. He was not expected to live. We did some fun stuff together, Derek and I, if you understand. But Derek's not in the picture. I wish he would have been. But so these are all his. I'm so proud of him, right? And so that's a cool thing right there. And then lastly, get to my. So the vet has its own garage. It's just all for itself. Look at my license plate. And so, and yes, it's bad to the bone. The top's off right now, if you can kind of tell. It's a little dark right there. But that's the Z06 model. And it's got its own. Oh, look at the floors. Look at the floors. Yeah, baby. It's got to be soft for them big fat tires, man. Because each tire is 12 inches wide. Yeah, 12 inches wide. Boom, boom, right? And wow, it looks pretty. Anytime I'm having a bad day, Trina comes to the office. She goes, hey, don't forget, you have a very pretty car. And then Addison will walk by and say, hey, don't forget, you have a very fast car. All right, back to being in a good mood. It's worth it. Just 5 years ago, my wife was using change to get something, which broke my heart, because we had to rebuild again. We had to do it when we got here because my story is much like these two gentlemen. I had nothing, cars were repossessed, lost everything. But then you climb all the way, not all the way to the top, but you climb a lot of the ways there and you lose it all again. Y'all want to hear something crazy? Second time was harder. To have all of that and lose it. Why do I have grace? Think about it. I'm begging for all of you to have some grace. I'm begging you all to give people a little bit of patience and a little bit of time. I'm begging all of you to say, hey, I'm just going to love on people. Because I want that for y'all. Whatever this is for y'all. Whatever your house looks like, whatever your car is going to look like, I want this for y'all. And if you want that, keep inviting people to this amazing family. If you went to family reunion, you know what I'm talking about. I've in my mind, Mia, I've always thought, I think big, but somewhere back there, and I don't know where it began, is I've always kind of said to myself, if I just had $250,000 to save in a bank, I'd be all right. I'd be all right. I don't know where that came from. I don't know where that number came from. I don't know why 250 is back there. I don't know what it means. I don't know who stuck it in me, but there it is. It's 250. And then I come to family reunion, and I watch my man, Andy Albright, give away $250,000. You know what that did to me? I'm worth more. Chris, you're worth more than $250,000. It's just money. It's just money. We're worth more than that. I'm not going to put a figure on it no more. There ain't no figure. I don't know what it is. I'm just going to keep working. I'm going to keep going. Because when I got people like this in my life, Austin here, when I got people like Nick in my life, I got to keep going. I got to be a better example. You know, it's like when you go from 5th grade to 6th grade. Scary, right? Because, I mean, that's when you all switch schools. That's when we switch schools in Texas. I don't know about you guys. And then 8th grade to 9th grade. Scary. You know? You hear all these myths. I heard Argenio try to catch the principal on fire and stuff him in a locker room. I heard about it too. Watch out for the hallways for Argenio. Right? And we have all these crazy myths and beliefs, right? And it's scary. And everything's so massive and huge, like, whoa! Right? And then you get to 12th grade and what happens? You're like, what? And then you graduate, or they just allow you to go. That's a good point. And you go back like 10 years later, and you swear on everything in your body that they somehow stuck that high school in a dryer and shrunk everything. Like the daggum water fountains are too low. You know? And before they were like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Don't go to the water fountains, you know. And the stairs shrunk, right? Everything shrunk. I'm here to tell you that I'm 10 years graduated now. Quit being scared. Quit being scared of the things they've gone through. I know some of y'all going through it. Quit being scared of it. You got more inside of you to overcome. You got more in you than you know. And all the lessons that we go through and all the things these two men have been through and so many of you have been through, it just teaches you you're stronger and you're prepared and you're ready to go to the next level. I want you to go to the next level with me. I want you to understand what that feels like. I said the other day, I said, I just don't, it's so great right now. I was like, I don't think it can get better. But see, Andy's on a different level and he's looking at me and saying, oh, son, it's going to get a lot better. You ain't there yet. I want y'all here. I want more to come with us. To know what it feels like to say, oh, $8,000 is what we got to pay the painter? Okay, cool. I want you to have that feeling. And I don't care how long ago it was that you was, I mean, I've been there. I've had to find $10 to put into a checking account so a $20 check didn't bounce. Been there. Right? I want you to have this feeling of being able to look at your wife and say, it's good. She's pool shopping right now for actual pools. Because that was another prerequisite we had, is it had to have a pool. But every time we found a house with a pool, guess what? It didn't have white cabinets. Right? So it just didn't work. I said, the heck with it. The heck with it. We're done with it. We're going to build our own pool. We're going to build it the way we want to build it. We'll get us a house with no pool. We'll put a pool in right when we get there. Right? And so now she's pool shopping. She called me this morning. It was so funny. Y'all were over there. We're getting ready for our presentation. She goes, I got to tell you something. I said, what? I'm thinking of something important, like crazy, like something happened, She goes, I found a mirror. Awesome, honey. That's good. And it was very important to her, right? And I'm hearing Tim Goad in the back of my head saying, hey, stupid, slow down, listen to her. Because I'm wanting to say, hey, honey, I'm busy. Can you call me on something bigger than a mirror? Right? But I slowed down, and I heard the excitement in her voice. And that's what God wanted me to hear. She got a mirror. I don't know what it means. I don't know why we got one. I don't even know where it's going. But we got a mirror. And she was excited. And God had me go through all those struggles so I could have that moment where she calls me up and said, I found a mirror. I want y'all to get these phone calls. I want you to get a text from Jeff Bright like I got this morning. I can't even read it to you because I'll cry. I kept looking at it like, dude, I think you meant to send this to somebody else. I don't know. I think maybe, well, it kind of goes along with what I said to him. So no, it matches. I think he meant to send this to me. I want you to receive those things. I want your life to be blessed like that. It's worth it. Now here's the great news. Andy Albright keeps throwing these contests out there. It is not really hard for me right now to grow. I don't know. Just keep inviting people in. They saw $250,000 given away at family reunion. Hello, cash. Cash. I did let everybody know, all my Texas buddies, listen, I bank at BB&T. It's based here in North Carolina if you need me to hold it for you. While you fly home, I only charge a nominal fee. Now we got the August. Can you put up the August contest? The slam? Say goodbye. Love you, buddy. See you, buddy. Now we got the Dog Day Slam contest for August. $15,000 for the top. I mean, you're going to win $15,000 cash if you number one in this contest. How can you not get people fired up about this opportunity? I can't get people started. Are you not? First place in this contest, $5,000. First place in this contest, $5,000. First place in that contest, $5,000. Now, yes, I'm only saying first place because I think all of you are worthy for first place. I want you to go all out. Quit saying what is the average. I never ask what the average person does. It drives me nuts. One thing that drives me nuts is when someone orders a pancake and eats half of it. How can you not go all out with that? Who pushes that away? Eat the whole thing. You ordered it. Those are the type of people that ask the question, what does the average person do? I bet you only eat half your pancake. I bet you're a half pancake eater. I can feel you. We were on a cruise once, and Andy, I wanted to order a little bitty steak, and he said, it was like he was testing me. He goes, I'm getting it was a chop thingy. What do they call those things? Tomahawk. It was like, how many ounces was it? 28 ounces. 28 ounces. And I said, dude, I'm trying to eat better. No. He said, only eat half of it. I said, do you not know me? Remember the alcohol thing? I don't go half in. You know what I'm saying? All the beer got to be out of the refrigerator by Sunday night. Monday morning, it better be empty. Tequila better be gone. Beer better be gone. It's all good, I go with my buddy Jeremy Patton, and he'll order a beer at dinner, and he'll drink half of it. I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, well, that's all I want. I said, oh my God. Quitter. So I'm only naming first place because I want you to go for first place. Why wouldn't you go for anything else but first place? Because I want you to go to first place. He wants you to go to first place. She wants you to go to first place. This whole daggum company wants you to go to first place, Debbie. Everybody wants you to go to first place, Mark. We're going to cheer you on, but at the same time, we're going to compete with you. You with me? Go to the next one. What do I got going on for the next August contest? I'm just going to name out the first place in each contest. Can anybody pronounce that name for me? Nick Thays? Nick Thays, number 1. You the man. Is Nick a man? We're going to go with that? Yeah. Way to go, Nick! You the man! Number 1 over here, Henry Barlin. Right. Number 1! Woo! Number 1, Michelle. Oh, that's a woman. I know who she is. Michelle Oliver, number 1. Danny. Number 1. Danny Johnson, number 1. Everybody needs to go for number 1. Everybody. Go for number 1. And give it all you got. Go all out. Don't eat half the pancake. Eat the whole daggum thing. Get all in. And then you will influence people. People come in here and you say, hey, I'm number 1. I'm going number 1. Right? I don't care what I'm going through. So what I love about their stories is they didn't tell me what they were going through, when they were going through it. They waited till they had some victories. And then, did you see Austin's name? So I just saw her kind of point like, okay, since we're here, and you're all the way down here from Rhode Island, God bless you. Where? Oh, right here. And coming in at number 10 is Austin Heater! Beautiful. Let's just all go all out. Andy Albright's built the most beautiful organization in the world. Let's every one of us go all out. Go get yours, come get mine. Adios.